Divine-gpms.world is a worldwide cumulative gathering of consents for every child, woman, and man to ratify and enact into law worldwide the all-inclusive replacement system of money and law worldwide. As outlined on the consenting website of divine-gpms.world, it is imperative that all worldwide take a couple of minutes and consent to add your accord, children included.
Greetings to everyone. We are on February 1st, 2026, divine-gpms.org meeting. And as usual, we have with us the founder, Rick Jewers, High Priest of Melchizedek Order, and also people like Guardians GPMS and representative all over the world. I would mention also right now we have Romania with Chris, we have Frank, Canada, Serhi, Canada, Ukraine, United States, Lodi, also Philippines, Everson, Brazil, and Agnes, she is from Germany. I am Beatrice. I'm living in Alberta, Canada at this time. Thank you so much for everyone that participated today on the meeting, and we have with us coming also Nia. Yeah, with the case of the mom and the children. Hi, Nia. Amazing situation that it is presented there with Austria and everything that it is related to everyone in the world. We have Denovan. This is United Kingdom. Oh, so the people are coming and coming. Anselina, she's also Philippine, I believe. Yeah. So we are hi then. So then it's with GPMS for years. So there are guardians and representative of GPMS, but not all of them. They are presented all the time on our weekly meetings. And as usual, I would like to start with a question for Rick. Where we are with the ascension on February 1st, 2026, because the ascension seems to be the most important, because all other reaction of the people are based on their ascension, yes or not. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Beatrice. The planetary ascension, because that's what it is, and that's why every individual one that knows they're ascending, even though you've done everything right, you're still here because it's about planet. It's about humanity and the human souls and the earth, Gaia as a whole. And it's about transitioning her into the heaven on earth scenario. And with that, it's simply done. All of the technology is already here to do it, plus the abstract forces of God. So let's say in the blink of an eye, Gaia Earth can be restored to pristine proportions. So just to keep this quick, and I'm so grateful to see Brother Denvin here today, Sister Nya, and all of the others, of course, and hopefully Brother Kai, he has the link from China, will be joining. But having said this, with the ascension, what is occurring is you have waves of ones that have awakened. And because of this, what is assigned to the individual waves of awakening are signs, but they are signposts for them to follow and directions as part of their awakening and what to become familiar with and what to unite and join with. So it brings ones together. So having said this, I love the book of Revelations in the Bible, and it is a very, very excellent guide to look at for the simple reason, even though for you it may not be in chronological order, the reasoning for this is because you have many waves that are creating the signs and the influences in reality at one given time. So you may have ones that are all through the revelations and know what it is and are sitting waiting, where you'll have others just entering the revelations and identifying with what's occurring in their reality and what they're seeing outside. So if this makes any sense, it is a very accurate record. But again, with anything, you need to perspect it metaphorically. And that is so important. Don't take things literally. But what you will find in reality, you will see the actual physical signs as well. When we, every week we come on here, if you will, and during the week prior, there has been increasing what you could call natural disasters and what have you. And, this week, what has transpired, which is so significant, again, on a metaphoric level, is the huge storm in the US that have put many into darkness with power outages. Hi, uh, please continue. I have a visitor, but the ascension is going fine. I'll be right back.
Yes, so we have almost 300,000 people that join Divine-gpms.world from Philippines. We have our sister here, Lodi. Lodi, please let us to know what is happening in Philippines. It is so important. And I hear that there will be also soon a community on the spirit of GPMS2 with the spirit on the heart of divine law, universal laws, that it's very, very different from the pyramid system with artificial laws that we have today. What is happening in Philippines? Please let us know.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. Right now, I am currently doing the Excel format of almost 2,000 names of uh, those collected by brothers and sisters in Palawan from different tribes. So not only Tagbanwa is coming in, there is also Cuyonon, Palawan, and another one is Batak tribe from our brothers and sisters in the Palawan Island of the Philippines. So uh, with regards to the community of the tribe of Tagbanwa, they are expecting certain group from I don't know the specific name of the group, but they are um, going to help the tribe to build a city, sort of their own city in the ancestral domain of the Tagbanwa tribe in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. So they are practically expecting the transition of the new system that is also described in Divine Plan of GPMS. That's a very positive happening expected in Palawan right now. So we will see. GPMS is really happening right now. Although it is not very obvious to others, but it is really happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's true. GPMS is happening with every vote, every consent from the people. And this consent can be added to the website anytime, 7 to 7 days, so 24 hours. We have people that they join GPMS, and when they were asked if they want to participate on the consent, they said yes, but they are still, how can I say, catch on the life. So basically everything that is happening with the weather, jobs and other stuff like, so they are not able to contribute too much, but there will be a moment when GPMS become viral, then basically they will come, and they will come as 1,000 to contribute for GPMS, then GPMS is happening. So for everyone to know, GPMS, it is guaranteed for Earth. We just ask when GPMS happens, not if happens. So GPMS is guaranteed for Earth. It is about the implementation, universal laws, do no harm, and it's happening worldwide at the same time. So for the first time on Earth, we have the right to gather consents since April, probably or May 2021. And since that time, GPMS gathered the people that become on their consciousness to be able to see divine laws and to accept the problem that we have today, that basically are coming because of the pyramid system with all the time few people that try to control others. And divine law, it's we are eagle in the front of God, and this has to be the system. So the first paragraph of the decree, it is about to describe the true sovereignty as nobody is above another. Yes, Dan.
Hey everyone, how we doing? Lots of love, lots of light, lots of gratitude, lots of faces here I've not seen before. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Amazing. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's build this. So yeah, so excited to be able to. I mean, there's so many things that I could share. Obviously, I'll try my best to keep what I do say into limited bits of information. But yeah, wonderful work as well to the Philippines. Where would we be without the Philippines, with all those consents and all that divine work you're doing, Lodi? Thank you so much. You're amazing, and the team over there is amazing. So yeah, so just wanted to add, I mean, because there's a couple of things that obviously Brother Rick was touching on, yourself touched on, again, obviously about how this is, you know, divinely ordained, it's occurring in all of these different divine ways, which is amazing. And I'd just like to welcome Holy Spirit into the room, although Holy Spirit is with us all the time. You know, I think we can all comfortably say that we mostly here probably all trust in God's divine protection and obviously delivery with us on this. Okay, so I had a fascinating conversation today with my brother, who's my blood brother in the sense of my family brother. Obviously, all my brothers and sisters, right? But what was fascinating for me is, for those of you that don't know, my brother is 14 years older than me. He's very materialistic. He's a Freemason. And we had a very deep conversation, which we don't often have, because everything with him is superficial, surface level stuff. He does obviously have a deep side to him, but he's very closed off. This is the nature of people generally, largely at the moment still, but certainly people within the Freemasonry is how they're operating. And so the conversation, again, very much all about control. I mean, he's such a control freak, right? Okay, and where this conversation started from was that he started to tell me how the world was going to move. And obviously talking about the he didn't talk about the World Economic Forum specifically, but, you know, of course, he, with his circles that he's circulating with, have this vision that, again, nobody's going to be needing to work in the future. The technology is going to take over everything. But there'll be basically, he was very open and very revealing, so much that came into this conversation. It was a 2-hour conversation, so obviously I can't give you everything by any stretch, but just the key things were that basically, again, very much attached to status. You know, there being two classes, basically the wealthy, rich, aristocratic, you know, fortunate versus the rest that will be on a very comfortable living. Like there won't be poverty, you know, in the sense of what we know today. Of course, many things came up and emerged in this conversation. Again, all the way from obviously the vision of GPMS, which he's really trying to deny, you know, can happen. And I said to him, you don't realize how important you are and how much of a difference you and the people that you circulate with can make with how quickly we do this. Because he's convinced this is going to take 10, 15 years for the World Economic Forum's vision to happen. At which point I had to keep on speaking to his conscience, which is very difficult to break into, about how millions of people die of malnutrition every year, millions of people die of stress every year, how thousands of children die of starvation, easily curable diseases, how every single day American football field size of the Amazon forest is deforested. And so to presume that it must take 10, 15 years to bring about great change, which we know we can bring in a blink of an eye with the power of God divinely behind us and with us being the divine spark to make it happen, with us doing this from the ground up rather than from the top down. He was obviously trying to deny, that it was possible what we could do and that it must be done this way, the way that obviously maintains the status quo of the power and the people at the top and everyone else. But it was very, very interesting because obviously we touched on various things to do with spirituality. He was questioning me, what is spirituality? And what is abundance? What's your life going to look like then in the version that you see it when it comes in? It was a fantastic conversation. I was giving him so much to think about at the end of this conversation. Like, he's going to have so much self-reflection, and obviously I'm obviously trusting that he will have some insights that will occur to him over the course of time moving forward. But yeah, still very much we had to agree to disagree on much of what was discussed, because obviously he's denying the truth, which I was very open about bringing to his attention, on many aspects. So I wanted to just bring that into the conversation initially. Of course, there'll be more tidbits I could give you probably in relation to everything that we're talking about here, because it's very relevant, and also the world view and the view specifically from the people that are trying to be the rulers and maintain ruling over the people. But yeah, just thought I'd come in and give you a little bit of insight with that. And just also for others that may not be aware, although you haven't seen me on here for a long time, I've been very active in the background doing a lot on TikTok, and obviously there's a number of people now helping us with this on TikTok, which is going to be amazing. Well, assuming that there's no things that get in the way of it, it's going to be very, very instrumental to help us take this forward very, very rapidly. But yeah, just one thing that I actually did mention to my brother, and he actually even mentioned it to himself. He was saying, you're speaking to the wrong people. He's trying to devalue what I was doing on TikTok. Although he did actually admit he has watched some of my videos, albeit he's never commented. Because I said to him, it fascinates me that my family largely, despite knowing how invested I am in this future and this work that I'm doing divinely, you've not even bothered to look at the website, right? What is it that's stopping you from doing that? What are you in fear of? Why would you not even speak to your friends, your acquaintances, the associates that you're speaking to about this technocratic future world that is being forced upon people? Why would you not just bring up the conversation about what's going on organically from the ground up? And he couldn't face that truth and admit why it was. I obviously brought it to his attention. Again, I was talking about it's your fear, your worry of being regarded as an outcast, as somebody who is woo-woo, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was very, very interesting in the day. So yeah, I'll leave it there for now, but we can obviously draw upon more of that as we go forward. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, Rick. Yes, please continue about ascension too.
If I may, brother, on the what you begin to open up, it's so important. Let's say the elitist and the darkness, and let's say one's led astray. For the most part, they are oblivious of what is occurring and how their actions and choices are so obvious to the masses, the great numbers. But the interesting thing is with their consciousness, it has not elevated to the level to recognize the seriousness of this. Now, you have, if you will, with their plan of a 2030 agenda, which is a new world order, keeping the aristocracy in place. That is what they had anticipated to do. but they're oblivious that the people have the plan and the people are actually the new world order, that this does what they have doesn't come to fruition, and it can't. So at the great time, the people are kind of split and watching, oh, what are they doing? What are they going to do next to us? While at the same time, we're over here gathering the majority, which outvotes, and what they intend to do does not occur. And again, this is the overall divine plan, but they are oblivious to the divine plan because they are not oriented and in alignment with divinity, to keep it simple. So it's and it is interesting to watch their perception, their perspectives, and their consciousness ignorance. And I say ignorance where they're not educated in the real divine value and the divine push forward with this. There is no stopping it, as we know. It's escalating and worldwide with all of the civil unrest, but with their attempts to control humanity, it's actually becoming adverse to what they want, and it's benefiting the people to get the divine plan and GPMS, if you will, into fruition much quicker. But I'll stop there. I love to hear more, Brother Den's here. And is Todd, are you Kai, is it, if you will, from China? I'll just step back and I'd love to hear others speak here. Todd.
So yeah, just to welcome Todd into the room and into GPMS. Amazing that we have some representation in China. And for the, again, because Ty was recently in Thailand, again, he has contacts there as well. So that can obviously spark some more movement going on there as well, which is awesome. So yeah, welcome, Todd. We're so grateful to have you with us. And Todd's got amazing stories to share, obviously, at any given moment when he's ready to and wants to, about his own personal journey. And awakening process. I mean, again, it's fascinating for people to hear some of people's experiences as well, whether or not that's necessarily going to be in this meeting or another, or whenever it just comes up. Obviously, feel like you can share, obviously, what you will hear, obviously, whenever you like. I mean, we obviously want to keep obviously on topic on certain things that we're talking about to make this organic, and obviously so that others can feed into the conversation or go off into too many different directions. Not that I'm commanding that and saying that that's the way it should be, but it's all organic. It's whatever divinely occurs, right, in divine timing. So yeah, Todd, do you want to share anything with us at the moment as we welcome you in? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, brother.
Okay, nice to meet you all. I'm really happy to be part of this. This has been something I've been thinking about for the last 15 years, and I wanted to do. And people say that my job or my vision is too big, that it's not possible. But I look at a lot of these wealthy people, the 1%, and the challenge is their consciousness has not elevated, because when we're an ego in this day and age, in this world, our ego is based on how wealthy we are, how successful we are. So they don't think that they need to develop spiritually. They don't understand this. So, I mean, imagine that our consciousness is like we're living on the top story of a penthouse, of the tallest apartment, and we've attained everything. And these people feel so successful. But the challenge is they don't realize that until they start working on spirituality, the elevator will open up for other levels of consciousness that they didn't know existed. And this is the challenge, is their ego is so swollen because they're so successful in terms of finance and money, but they don't realize that the world can't continue this way. It's not possible. The world it's defeating itself, and it has to change. So it has to change from the bottom up. And I know that this is, I'm so glad you guys are all here supporting the same goal. I'm so passionate about it. I just want to make sure that it happens. And I'm opening a community in Thailand to do the same thing. And it's a lot of the events and stuff will be free. It's to help bring people together, community healing classes, breath work, kirtan circles. And there's obviously, we're going to make money from it but the goal is to provide community, to bring people from around the world, people that can't afford it, they can come for free to all these things. We're obviously going to have like biohacking things like ice bath and quantum healing and things like that, which is quite exciting. People can pay for that, but if someone doesn't have the money, the goal is to let everyone bring to come and do these things for free in an attempt to help raise consciousness on the planet. Yes, I've had my awakening between 2010 and now, and I've had many crazy experiences like astral travels and so on. And I believe that all humans, like Jesus, or like we can all be superhumans. We all have the ability to do these amazing things, but we're led to believe through certain things that we can't, that we don't. We have to get something from outside of us to help us. And if we all come together, the power of a group of people together have such power that we can be the force with each other to help raise all the rest of humanity. So I mean, I do groups of people in China and in Thailand, and we have 20 to 30 people, and we get a circle of quantum breath work, and I have an orb of light flowing around in the middle. And people are like, they're amazed that we can actually get like literal the source of light coming into our circle with 20 to 30 people. We see angels, we see so many amazing things that I know that it's totally possible. We just all have to believe 100% that this is happening. It's going to happen, and it's just keep being 100% positive about the process and the movement. I 100% believe it will happen, and I'm going to do anything I can to make sure and support this in any way possible. So anyway, I just want to say hi. I'm grateful for being here. It's all about light and love and peace and being heart-centered. So I think keeping moving forward, anyone that's got their heart and their heart is the center of why they're doing anything, then I believe that those people are going to be the right people to join our force and keep supporting us with us.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you so much to be with us here. So we really need somebody from this corner of the world. I'm not saying this is just a location, it's not a country. And we need also for many people to join from all locations all over the world and do amazing thing like you already described. This is just amazing. Yes, Rick.
Thank you.
A quick question for Todd. So, if I understood correctly, you're in China.
Yeah, I'm in Shanghai.
Great. So then my question is just curious, are you witnessing any of a Christ revival, if you will? Are you having any interaction with Christians there or ones, let's say, that are being visited by Jesus and other angelics? You touched on a bit of it, but I'm
I would
curious.
say people here are very spiritual in nature. I would say they don't pick one religion. If there was a religion, it would be more Buddhism. But Buddhism is very accepting. It's more like a philosophy of like do good and don't harm other people. It's not like you have to follow this book or that book. It's more like you learn whatever spiritual practices through embodying them and practicing them and see which ones resonate with you. So they're very accepting with everyone. There's huge spiritual groups. I'm going to be doing a huge breath work for about 200 people when I get back. I'm going to Thailand in a week, and then I'm going to come back. And we have sound healings and things here. It started at my house. This is, oh, actually, you can't see it. I have a background that's different. But I have a temple in my house that can fit about 20 to 30 people, and we do breath works. And we don't really talk about religion as much. We just want to feel like everyone's allowed. So we don't want to segregate this religion is better than that one. So we try to keep it accepting and make it more spiritual. We also do a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff, which is more the scientific base of spirituality. And we don't say, well, this is good and that's not good. So we're trying to keep it as open as possible. I'm trying not to create any separation at all, because I think for the most part, a lot of people, they choose this religion over that, and then they'll fight for their religion. So I have statues of Jesus. I have Buddha statue in my house. I have Archangel Michael. I've got Ganesha. I've got every religion from different religious statues in my house to allow all of them to feel welcome and not feel like I'm choosing one over the other.
And that is so perfect and right in cue with what GPMS is and the divine plan. Just to share with all, before this divine plan uh, had GPMS, before it was given to the public, uh, several years before that, in the preparation from Father to me, from Father Source, Prime Creator, is to bring all together. So it didn't matter what the creeds, the faiths, the beliefs are, is to bring all together as one. And this is so important because this is what we do. We speak to all beliefs as brothers and sisters, no separation.
Yes.
And in GPMS, we say there is no discrimination between beliefs. Everything is aligned, if you will. It's been written through all of the at least major beliefs and faith systems on earth that this time of GPMS would come. It's the golden age, it's the star prophecies within the Hopi, within the Islamic religion, the Quran, within Buddhism. You know, when we look at this, it's a beautiful prerequisite of the individual to embrace, you know, this new world of kindness. And when we look at Buddhism, it is based, one of its founding principles is to be the good person, the good soul, to be the kindness and the compassion and sharing and working together. So, you know, with all of the core fundamentals, they are all dispersed, um, not dispersed, they are prevalent in all of the major beliefs. It's already foundationed. The core principles are seated. So we bring all of these core principles together as the one thing and do what is right for humanity. And you know, right in the blink of an eye, we can stop all of this insanity and suffering worldwide just by bringing all of the people together with
Mm-hmm.
this ultimate all-inclusive solution. What we have here, it's that simple. And of course, we have the consciousness gaps, but we are overcoming those because we do have assistance, if you will, from God, or if you wish to say the forces of creation, the forces of nature that are occurring. So, with this, you can say that God has our back, and but I need to say truly that divine GPMS is from God, and that's where it does originate from for this time to advance humanity out of the savagery, this present savage world, into the civility where everyone's in abundance and immediate abundance and freedom. But I'll stop rambling. Thank you so much. Just before I stop rambling, this is so important as well, Todd, in Thailand, because we did have many GPMS representatives all there. Um, and also, because of what you do, there's a divine sister that she will be in Thailand shortly as well, but she is a great healer. So perhaps we'll connect later, and I can connect you two if it's interesting. But I'll
Yes.
stop. Brother Donovan wishes to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So yeah, as obviously it's been referenced, all good things come from above, right? So divine GPMS, obviously one of those very good things that comes from above. Yeah, I mean, so many different sort of reference points, really. I mean, obviously, again, so yes, our freedom to believe, of course, within divine law, as long as our, freedom doesn't do any harm, and this is where, again, it is about breaking us free of that separation that's been done specifically to keep us separated and easily sort of conquered or ruled, okay? So this is where when I'm talking about this, and I do quite a lot of lives on TikTok, live streams, and when I'm talking with people, I do bring in obviously my perspectives, but where possible, I try to keep myself and pull it back into just focusing on what we all can align on, which is freedom, abundance, love, and peace. I mean, these things 99.9% of people can agree on. Even 100% of people can ultimately agree on it, but there are some people that are so let's say possessed or have a distorted view of life at this point that they won't see the alignment even on those things because they have a distorted version of the truth, right? And so, yeah, it's about kind of breaking through that distortion, obviously aligning on what we can and what we will, which will bring everybody together. And then as more truth surfaces, of course, the alignment, converges on more things. People obviously will be able to see the truth, the real truth, the highest truth. So yeah, absolutely. The conversation that I've been having today is so relevant with my own brother, with many things that we're talking about because of the consciousness level and his denial, in the spiritual nature of reality. He calls himself, refers to himself as agnostic, or would refer to him as agnostic, believes in something greater, a higher power, but not obviously assigned to any particular belief of what that is. But yet will completely deny the spiritual nature of stuff, and even said to me, there is no evidence that spirituality or the spiritual realm is real, that there is metaphysics, denying quantum physics. There's obviously the measurement now of things that are unseen, which is obviously bringing a lot of the science into alignment with, the metaphysical and obviously the spiritual reality of the world. But yet, again, bringing the truth to surface with this conversation, he would come out with many things. I would be able to answer those things, but again, his ego is getting in the way and distorting that for himself. And I was obviously appealing to him to obviously go in and find what's going on there with him, with his ego. Why would he not speak about this and the fear and all the rest of it, and pointing out to him why that is. But he's not ready to face it at this moment. But then, of course, when we have these conversations, it's on self-reflection, it's on reflection after these conversations that people will then be able to integrate what they've been learning about on some level that they couldn't face and acknowledge and accept at that given moment. But then the truth for them does change.
Oh, then when you mute yourself, we are not able to hear you in the last
Can you hear?
second. Yeah.
Oh, did that just happen automatically?
only a few seconds before. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so fascinating conversation. I mean, one of the things that came up in this conversation, which was interesting, was because he was saying that he was denying the power of the fact that we've reached 400,000 or practically 400,000 agreements, largely of which obviously come from the Philippines, but the fact that that is extremely powerful, the fact that we're in 174 countries worldwide, right? He was saying, that's obviously just scratching the surface. He said, you're speaking to the wrong people because the people don't have the power to obviously make change. Ignoring completely free will and all the rest of it, and the power of that is actually within all of us to be the difference, to be the change. And I made the point to him. I said, look, if we had a billionaire or several billionaires that obviously have this vision for a bright, beautiful future, and they were able to just obviously realize that it's important that everyone is absolutely equal in abundance and in authority, standing in divine law, and we create that heaven on earth, which is the ultimate, which we should always be striving for. Why strive for second best, right? That they could actually potentially give us the ability to employ with the funding that they could give us, hundreds of thousands of people to be gathering the consents, spending many hours a day, funding the travel, funding the tools like, smartphones and laptops to actually collect the agreements and log the agreements of people that don't have smartphones, for example. across Africa, across India, across Asia. And we could definitely do this inside of 2026 with that assistance. But yet he didn't want to accept that because he knows that actually at this point his perspective is, and it's fair to say perspective, that those people that have that much abundance are not going to see that they're ready to actually release this perspective like him, that people should all be treated fairly and equally and as valuable as everyone else, right? So very, very interesting. We obviously, again, we went around in various different circles and cycles with the conversation. But yeah, he's basically going to have a lot to reflect on with this. But this is where, there are many watchers who are watching this at the moment. He admitted, and I didn't realize this, but he said that he'd been watching some of my content. He might see my videos come up because he is on TikTok. He doesn't use it very often. There's a lot of people, at least, don't necessarily use it a lot. They're not consuming like many people are on the Apple, for hours of the day, scrolling and scrolling. But he's seen some of my content. He's probably looked for my content out of some level of interest, right? We've got people, and I say this on my live streams quite frequently. There'll be people in the police, in the military, in governments around the world that will come across the content, already have. I've already spoken to some people in the police force. I've spoken to a few people in the military, right, about this. Not had long conversations, but given them the website and asked them to have a look at it and just to let them know that it's there and maybe to share it with their peers, just out of interest, if nothing else, at this point. Because we know that at this time, there's a lot of people that won't take it seriously because the numbers, whilst they are very impressive, it is just down to perspective, and they just obviously don't see it as, they see it as fanciful, that it's not going to happen at this point. But that is just their consciousness, and it is just their limited beliefs, which obviously we're breaking through with the visible tool, the divine instrument, which is the worldwide counter on the website, which is showing people showing the world the free will consent of the people that's growing all the time, but also by how many more people are going to be joining us in the promotion of it as actual guardians talking about it. So when we've got thousands of people, for example, promoting this on social media every single day, like doing potentially what I'm doing or more, then we'll be reaching millions and millions of people on a daily basis, right? Hundreds of thousands of consents will be happening at that time on a daily basis. Thousands more will be helping us promote this. So then obviously the exponential growth occurs at that point, right? And I'm gonna encourage, won't go into much detail today maybe, but anybody that wants to learn how to do this, I'm here to basically provide any support and help I can freely to those that are obviously wanting to try and do this now, because obviously I've learned how to do it well. I know that I can obviously pass these skills on to other people if people want to learn the skill, if they're willing to, and then we can obviously inspire more people to follow in our footsteps, be the way showers to others, and build it and build it and build it very quickly. And then divinely, there'll be other things that occur, which obviously organically just mean that the movement moves forward very, very quickly. But yeah, like I say, there's at the moment many watchers, people watching from the sidelines with intrigue, with interest. Maybe they say outwardly, oh, I can't see this happening. But there's a part of them on a subconscious level at the moment that wants this. Like, people are spiritually choosing this on some level, because who doesn't want the heaven on earth? Who doesn't want it, really, right? They just don't think it's possible yet. But they will. We'll break through that limited belief. And yeah, we're doing it. We're building it all the time. So yeah, wanted to just come in with that for now. Any other comments, or anybody want to share anything, ask me anything, or give your viewpoints? Be welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
Yes, Rick.
Oh, thank you, brother Den. One thing I wish to say to everyone is that GPMS, Divine GPMS, is already a nation. It's a universal nation with a universal jurisdiction and voice. And when you look at a nation by population, if you will, we are a very powerful nation on earth. To define what a nation is, it merely needs its own laws and its own monetary system, which GPMS has. Even though the monetary system is not in production, not in circulation, it does exist, and the switch can be turned on at any moment. And what I also need to say that, let's say, the executive of GPMS knows fully how the old system works, and that if this was just a parallel system, it could negotiate to have the GPMS dollar as part of the system and have it circulating. But that is not how this works. GPMS is the replacement system for the exploitive current system that you have now. And but what I wanted to bring up is the importance of knowing that GPMS is the only universal nation on Earth, and also because of the founding principles, if you will, of divine GPMS, it's the most valuable. Its currency can never be matched. It is the most valuable currency on Earth, even though it's not in circulation right now. It is because of the simple reason that the value is put on the individual with the unlimited capacity and potential that outweighs any extrinsic resources like land, gold, any of that. It's all finite. It's extrinsic. It's finite, but it's owned and controlled by the limited, let's say, they're actually less than 1%. They're actually just under 2 million worldwide. It's a decimal 5% or so is the ones, the elitists. So, just keep it simple again. I just wanted everyone to realize this, how actually powerful that GPMS is, and that it's already victorious, even though it's not accepted worldwide, because it is inevitable and it is the divine plan for Earth. And again, we've kept it so logical where anyone can just be an atheist, that it's common sense and logical. Worldwide vote, gather the majority of the people, and what are we going to create? We're going to create the world where all are free, lots of money, abundance, resources, no more war, absolute peace, all of the solutions. Because again, when we gather this majority consent, you're gathering all of the skill sets. You're gathering the biggest think tank also that has all of the solutions, and bringing everyone together and giving everyone unlimited instant access to unlimited money and resource. And poof, it's all done, and nothing stops this. It's divinely ordained. And believe me, my connections to whatever you wish to call it, supernatural forces, which are all good and benevolent, or Father Prime Creator, it is very real. And I would not be here today doing this, and GPMS would not exist if not for Prime Creator and the real entity that Prime Creator is. So thank you.
So Nia, you are very welcome, and I would like to hear more from you. What is happening with the case of the children in Austria? What it is the reaction of the government at this time, with all their artificial law versus universal laws of GPMS and universal nation? Thank you.
Thank you. I have to say the numbers in Europe are slowly increasing. It's very interesting. It's something that Brother Donovan is touching on, right? So it's very interesting if you're talking with ones, right? They were like, it's not possible. It's just like a utopia for them, right? But because of, the numbers of children being abducted in Austria, Europe, but also worldwide is increasing, right? And it really reached a very peak point, I would say, where people realize that this is injustice, right? That this is slavery and all those kind of things. But, we are at the edge, I would say, right? Because you can feel the unrest, you can feel the fear is increasing. So I'm feeling, at the specific point, when, this breaks through, the people are choosing the right thing, right? So currently in my case, there's no progress or no response right now. But what I can see is, especially here in Europe and Austria, that the situation and things are accumulating, right? So more and more is coming to the surface in regards of children abduction, children abusement as well. A lot of things are also happening in Austria, meaning like buried cases are now reopened, which is also, connected with that unlawful, corrupt government and system, as well as you can also see parallel in US as well. So this is something that I can share. But also what I'm seeing is that more and more people are starting to awake. What is also very interesting is that more and more people are not afraid anymore to share openly about their abilities, their trust, and their alignment. You can also see more and more are aligning, with God or Jesus as well. More and more are awakening and knowing that things are unlawful, are going against their rights and human rights as well. This is very, very great as well. So, yeah, and also, a lot of miracles and appearances. But I would also love, to hear from Todd if he's hearing, those things are also appearing, in Asia as well, right? So, yes, I think this is something that I could share. I mean, Rick and I, we have worked, through a lot of cases since months. The more I hear, the more it's, how do I say it? It's, I can see a lot, I've been also in connection, with ones who are fighting this corrupt system, since years, literally. They have a lot of evidence, they are fighting it. And what you can see that ones are systemic suppressed, the thing is, we are not a sovereign group, we are a universal nation, but in the past you have seen, a lot of sovereign groups, being suppressed, but this is not happening, with Divine-gpms as well. So, but also, the amazing work of Rick, with the lawful documents and informations, for ones are very in alignment with a lot, especially, for those who knows the truth and are standing up against these unlawful things as well. So, yes, and very interestingly, most of them who are fighting the system for years, it's very interesting, because I talked with a lot of them. They all have abilities and they do know about the final times. They do know about their mission, and that it is very important, to step up and not feed this system anymore. So, yes, this is a short update what I can give you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Donovan.
Wonderful. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things quickly. Firstly, I'll touch on it now, but I'll go into more detail. So I'm excited about being able to see all of you be inspired and empowered to become the beautiful way shows that you are, because you are activated for divine reasons and you're doing divine works. Of course you are, which is we're always so grateful of. But of course you've got so much power, so much light, so much beacon of light to bring to others, right? And this is the time where we need to be seen doing that more and more, because together that light light just shines so brightly, so much more brightly, and it awakens more. So of course, I don't know how many of you are frequent participants in this meeting that's weekly, or whether this is your first one, or you've been to a few, but not everyone. Obviously, it's divinely ordained when you come, obviously. But I hope that maybe this might actually give you some food for thought in terms of if you have some pen and paper, you can take notes of like things that maybe come up for you whilst the conversations are going on. And it's just easier to then remember what it was that you wanted to say that was relevant, and you can bring the conversation round to something that was already spoken about, where you can add something. And just you being able to speak and use your voice and be seen sharing is going to be very, very powerful on this platform. But of course, where you're able to shine your light elsewhere is going to be very, very powerful. Now, that's something you could think about, and we could talk about that more as well in terms of what you could do outside of this weekly meeting if you want to, again, online, because online, very quickly, the reason why it's so powerful for us as well is because that where you are actually creating content, if you do actually find the courage and the power in you to then start speaking and sharing and doing that, you've got people who are watching, who are listening, undivided attention, where they're not interrupting you, they're listening, right? And this is a major problem that a lot of people have, is they just aren't listening, right? Their thoughts get in their way. They obviously want to basically come in with something which is ego-based and fear-based and obviously projection-based. Whereas they don't tend to do that so much with a video, or if you're going live, for example. And I know that's going to scare a lot of people, the idea of going live, because that is freaky when people first start doing it. But it's something that, again, we're here to grow. We're here to become, right, the more higher versions of ourselves, and really just be able to inspire and empower other people without pride, to become, again, that absolute true divine being that we know we all are, right? So in terms of how we can reach people, like literally, the algorithms on these platforms, they actually drive the content out to people who is searching for people that are going to be interested in what you're saying. Because actually these algorithms, they want people to stay on their platform. They're competing with the other platforms, and they want to harvest data from you, and they want to see who's interested in what. So actually, there are some key things that obviously I can help people learn about, which will help you sort of increase engagement if you do want to explore this potentially. But again, it's a case of like just putting certain keywords in, for example, and we want to reach the people that are going to be more ready, people who are obviously going through an awakening process, spiritual, light workers, for example. Many of those people will see this when you speak and you say certain keywords. This is how it searches for the right people for the information to get out to, because it wants you to see views. Now, we can obviously reach more people very, very quickly with that. So I just wanted to touch on that. But one of the things that came to me today was questions lead to discovery. So often we're obviously talking and we're able to obviously give insights, but people aren't listening, and so they're not actually being inspired to learn and take in what we're saying. But obviously if we get better at asking questions that are thought-provoking, allowing them to actually arrive at the information divinely themselves, then we can actually start to penetrate their consciousness more effectively. I felt that very, very strongly. So just whilst we're talking, I was thinking about things that we can be saying, we can be asking, like what would you choose to be doing, obviously in a world where you don't have to worry about money ever again? You can travel, you can experience the world. Have people start using their imagination to think about that future, right? Because that was a question that came up with my brother's conversation to me. What are you going to do? What's your day going to look like? What time are you going to go? I'll say every day is going to be different. I'll be able to do what I want when I want. I'll be sharing, because he was talking about the world where there's no need for anyone to do any contributions. I said people are still going to work. People want to, but it depends on how you even determine what work is, what you call work, right? But basically, that's a good question. So also, do you feel that we should settle for second best, right? So if we've got two options on the table, one's the World Economic Forum, it's the United Nations driving and dictating exactly that we should have this kind of reality. That would be second best, would it not? To a free world where people are free and absolutely abundant. It's not even second best, is it? But in terms of those people that are buying into that, like as if they actually think that is actually a good outcome, because I was actually highlighting it. My brother, and these technocratic thinkers, which he's being influenced by through the Freemasonry and the elites that he's obviously rubbing shoulders with. I mean, mostly they don't have a clue. They're just basically being walked to their demise. They don't even realise it, right? is that what you want to have a world where there's literally humanoid robotics everywhere doing every single thing, when people can do some of those things and would choose to do those things because it'd be like ticking off your bucket list as a life experience. You're going to actually quite like doing those things, and it's going to be, people will receive gratitude for doing the things that we actually think now would be the last thing we want to do as a career. But no, in that new future, new reality, you're having an experience and people can be like, oh wow, you've done that, I haven't done that one yet, I'd love to do that. I've got to do that one at some point, right? So this is where obviously things are shifting and changing for people. But you know, it was fascinating to me. He was asking, so yeah, what would your day look like? Well, I'm not going to predict that right now. Obviously, I can't, you know, even imagine how it's going to be, but it's going to be in universal flow. That's a beautiful thing. So also, this is a good question. Do you appreciate having free will? Right? Is that important to you? Have you thought about what free will is? Right? How would you feel if that free will was taken from you? Right? These are important questions because it helps people arrive at a point in their consciousness of how important that actually is, because this is what we're talking about. This is how GPMS is done. And also, you know, what happens when we're actually being dictated to and we're having a future forced upon us? That isn't by free will. So yeah, those were some of the things that were coming up. So questions lead to discovery. I think we should all think about that and come up with some good thought-provoking questions that we can use if we're having conversations with people offline, just to help them start to discover the truth for themselves, because that's how it happens, right? And yeah, just to say that many people are having experiences worldwide, like you know, people who obviously follow Islam, Buddhists, but they're having experiences, obviously, you know, whether it's like a dream or a vision, meeting Christ. Some of them are returning back to Christ in that sense, not necessarily a lot of them becoming Christian, but again, there's a lot, again, what we call or how we determine or describe belief, the level of belief in people is extremely variable. So you've got many people that are Christians and they believe in Christ, or they claim to believe in Christ, and they do. They want to believe, but they haven't had a personal experience yet, a metaphysical experience, and they don't have full trust yet. And this is where, again, there's obviously more things that need to happen divinely for them to have those experiences, but they need to be opened up to that as well. So it's about people becoming more open to receive those insights ultimately. But yeah, that is definitely occurring. Like, because when people obviously have followed, say, a pathway of believing in Islam and obviously being Buddhist, and then they actually then have maybe more than one, several even, experiences of having Jesus visit them in their dreams, then they can often basically like be kind of like, well, what does this mean? And then, of course, the experience is so powerful when it's filled with love and all that sort of stuff, then it can completely change their viewpoint and their absolute belief and trust, right? Having a personal relationship with the creator of everything, which, again, we can all be having, but not necessarily realizing. So, yeah, that was basically pretty much everything I wanted to say, other than, again, just to say that we're all here to be the way showers, to show others the way, you know, obviously to learn from each other. Even those that we're showing the way to, we're always the teacher and the student at the same time. And again, it's trying to become more humble and with humility, remaining humble and with humility. And again, that's all going to come with inner work and stuff, which we're on this journey together. We're all at different points of the journey. We're not arriving there until we all basically ascend together, which is what ultimately occurs with this mass shift in consciousness, which again means that much of what we think is going to happen and how it might happen, logically, materially, through the consents and through the website, of course, can happen metaphysically in ways that we can't yet perceive yet. So yeah, thank you so much again. I'll open up the channel for everyone else. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Dan, and also thank you so much to Max and to you for all the work done on TikTok, and more than that. I saw some consents from the United Kingdom coming, so the work that the team there it's doing, it's very, very appreciated. It's great, and I believe that more representative of GPMS will come from that too. So we create the new world, but we have the direction, and the direction it is universal laws. I said all the time because I saw some comments from Chris. Chris, he's in Romania. Yeah, a little bit about the protest. What I am saying all the time, I'm saying, okay, so the protest is necessary as awareness. And what I'm saying all the time, it is we have to unite, and this is what the protest wants. to do to unite the people to start to see and everything. But at the same time, the direction is very important. When the direction it's still on the pyramid with politician and everything. So basically, this is not a good direction. And right now, because we know that Chris, it is also involved in some protest, and he was able to gather many people for protest and everything, and he's doing a lot of activity on this way, Romania, Ukraine. Please let us know, Chris, a little bit what is happening there. And if you would believe that the word of GPMS has to unite, and the real power given to the people, it is self-governance, it is self-determination. Basically, it's not the pyramid. Would you see a good reaction on the way to unite the people on the direction of GPMS? What is happening? Because we know that in Ukraine there is war and everything.
Yes, hello. So let's talk about each country. Like in Romania, in the last year, the vibe, it's just like Romanians are boiling. So there were few protests, but not as far as people feel like to do. Like yesterday, it was in the center of Romania, a big protest, thousands of people asking for government to step down because the taxes have been increased double, sometimes triple or 4 times this this December, you know. So people were already boiling with anger because of the stolen elections, which happened 1 year ago in December, 6th December. Now they are really raging with fury. And on the other side, let's think a little bit like even from a neutral position, I think it's important. They're extremely important, the protests. Like even we have some information, we have to check everything, of course, but seems that protests have been the solution even for other civilization like Maya. Like imagine we were on the brink of that in 2021, you know, when everybody was protesting, including in Canada. But there were almost all the countries, full Europe and everywhere. So we were like in a situation with planetary protests almost in every country. Some even took over the parliaments, the presidential palace. It's my theory that even the Ukraine war started as a cabal alternative to divert the attention of the population of the planet, you know, because everybody were so close to get it to get this sovereignty, and they reacted. We did not react. They started to react. So something is changing in the game, and so seems like pretty recently in the galaxy history, the Maya civilization was also under Orion reptilian empire occupation. They actually in 2-3 days protest, everybody on the streets, hundreds of millions, and everything shut down. Government, economics, and all the governments stepped down, and it was over with the, you know, like here, the puppets imposed by the Orion system. So I think it's a solution, even if it sounds like it's maybe violent, or there can be, but we are thinking a peaceful protest. And as far as I organized, like, you know, leader, sometimes like just a member, but I try to ensure, and I think we succeed at this 100%. There was no violence in Constanța, in my city, which is at the Black Sea coast in East Romania. It's like the gateway of Europe. everybody from Asia start to enter and to cross Europe by our port, Constanța. So we are the border of European Union. And when we started, let me remind you, one protest. So many countries reacted differently to this imposed, interdictions, which we know there were cabal interdiction to put mask on the people, like it's a metaphor, yeah, to shut down the people, to not speak, to make them like animals, and so on, to put night's curfew and several interdictions, no going out, no going to the malls, to the restaurants in the city. And we actually rejected. So I like that some colleague was talking about the power of the people, and we are so strong when we are united. It's so true, but it's still a word until we get on the street, and then we see we are infinity. Like we gather in the name of God, of Jesus, of course, for good, for justice. They are against us and against God, and we prevail when we are like only 3,000 or 5,000. And that's what happened that's what happened in Romania when we started to protest. In the same night, the Bucharest started to protest, and the second day, 40 cities. So they were trying to impose curfew every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, starting around 7, 8 in the evening. We're not talking about 12 in the midnight. 7, 8 in the evening. Outrageous. So I didn't accept it. Others did not accept it. And Constanța, our city, was the sparkle that started this mini revolution. And what happened the next day? Government said, oh, okay, there is no more need for this measure. So when there is the force of the people, we can change something in good.
Yes, so just to remember a little bit, the protest show up that the people unite, but the direction is extremely important. Just to remember to everyone what it is the true definition of sovereignty. The true definition of sovereignty, it is written on the decree GPMS, where it is saying that every man, woman, and child is born and is by nature free, equal, sovereign, and possesses the inherent knowing of what is morally and ethically right. By definition, no one can ever be in a position of authority above another. So right now the question is coming all the time, what we need. So we protest, this is also awareness for the population, because the population start to hear that something happened, because the media is not speaking the truth. So the way it's also via the protest. At the same time, the people gather, but the direction is extremely important too. Yes, Rick, you wanted to speak before, and after that, then move on.
I'd rather Brother Jonathan go first because I might ramble for a bit and some more important information. Brother Jonathan, may you please oblige?
Perfect. Thank you, brother. Yes. So a couple of things. I won't be able to stay on for too much longer because I do have to sort of go and do some other sort of divine things. But yeah, thank you very much for your input there, Chris. Appreciate that. It's great for you to bring this up to the surface. Yes, the protesting obviously divinely is ordained as well, that's occurring, and very, very important. However, obviously so many people worldwide are actually in the belief at this point that that's what must happen in terms of complete, fallout of all of the current system as we know it, right? But then the question I would ask you is what happens, say you have several governments around the world or multiple governments around the world overthrown at the same time. What do you think would happen in terms of the harm that could occur to the people in those times? Now, I bring that question up purely because GPMS is here. Everything can happen in a blink of an eye. We know that there's many, many people that obviously know about this. It's not going to occur, but there's obviously the potential threat of, which is looming over people as well, of blackouts and what harm that could do, okay? The reason why GPMS is so important is because it assures a peaceful transition and it protects people, right? It prevents harm, ultimately, and it can be done very, very quickly, peacefully and harmoniously. So we need to obviously bring that up, because so many people wait on that. Eventually the banking system's collapsing, and then that's where obviously the great change is going to occur. But then there's so many people, like disruption to services that are essential to preserve life as we know it, albeit maybe not in the ways that we think it should happen, where people obviously require sort of medical interventions and healing and things like that. They get disrupted, and that causes a great deal of harm potentially. Now, if that occurs divinely, God's way is always the right way. It's the best way. But ultimately, it shouldn't happen, and I don't believe that is going to happen in a big way. Like, you might have the odd government here and there potentially gets overthrown, as we've seen. But we need to obviously be communicating, those of us that are within the Divine GPMS, this information of why this is the better way, because it's God's way. It's the right way to do it, peacefully, harmoniously, and very, very swiftly. And I need to add to this, the speed of which the GPMS can come in, literally can and will be in a blink of an eye. I've given this example many times. I do on my live streams regularly. The only thing that's slowing this process down at the moment is ego. It is people's lack of belief, lack of self-worth. And there is obviously some other mechanisms going on divinely, obviously, that's also allowing some time for integration for people's consciousness to shift, obviously. But ultimately, we can bring this in. When we get to, like, I can't tell you what the number is, but let's say it could be 10 million, it could be 50 million worldwide, 100 million consents worldwide. There will be a given point that when people discover and hear about GPMS for the first time from a friend, from seeing it online, they're going to see many people online if they're online at that point. Thousands of people, like I say, be promoting it potentially. Their perception of how real this is and how possible it is going to have shifted dramatically, to the point where they will start to share it organically offline with their friends, with their families, and people who will be discovering it will be taking it seriously because of the momentum that's been created and the number of people promoting it, talking about it, and people being open to receiving the information and actually understanding it. So when we get to that precipice, or that point where literally people that hear about it and discover it aren't questioning it, aren't poo-pooing it, I use that phrase, poo-pooing it, thinking, oh yeah, it's fanciful. They're taking it seriously because of where things are, because of consciousness that's shifted already to certain degrees. When a family give their agreement, and just say they give their agreement within a week of discovering it for the first time, and they log the agreements of their children, because they can, obviously they can as guardians of their children, they share it with 3 families within a week, right? And when that happens, and duplicates and replicates, because the belief is there, people have trust, people are excited, people are ready, people believe now because the consciousness has shifted. 3 families then share it with 3 families, the next week is 9, then it becomes 27, then it becomes 81, seems like it's growing slowly, then it becomes 243, then it becomes 729, then it becomes 2,187, still quite slowly, then it becomes 5,600, then it becomes 18,000. 21 weeks later, we would reach 10.5 billion families in just 21 weeks, right? Word of mouth is the best form of advertising. Heard that phrase, haven't we? Right? Well, the thing is there isn't 10.5 billion families. There's not even 10.5 billion people. And of course, it would happen exponentially that much more quickly. So that will occur. It's just a question of what point does that occur? And that's where the blink of an eye happens. What also people need to be bridged to in terms of the information of these 3 phases is obviously that we are bringing the largest worldwide think tank together. And that includes people who obviously have knowledge, expertise, wisdom in many different fields. That will come together before we get to phase 2 of the plan, where we reach 1.75 billion people worldwide. There is going to be these kind of interim kind of things that are occurring that are outlined in the plan, but aren't written and aren't deeply there yet, but they're in the hearts and minds. And obviously, again, this is where I say when I'm doing my live streams and I'm talking to people, there's many people that are listening at the moment. They're just out of interest. They just think, oh yeah, I'm curious to see how this progresses. But then they'll find the moment when actually it's time for them to get involved because of what they can bring to the table and how they're going to actually help shift this. And they'll be ready and they'll be like, yeah, I'm all for this. This is amazing. We're bringing the heaven on earth, baby. So yeah, when we get to 1.75 billion people worldwide, okay, we're going to have on average 8 million people in each country. That's what 1.75 billion divided by roughly 200 countries is. About 8 million people in each country worldwide. So with that, of course, the police and the military that have been learning about it, hearing about it, seeing the people that are gathering in major cities around the world, not protesting, promoting excitedly the heaven on earth. Everyone knows how the voting system works, the majority vote rules, blah, blah, blah. It's attracting people magnetically that grow. They're becoming ready to align with the plan with their peers together, right? Ultimately, not to, cause any kind of revolution violently, but to ultimately stand down and not follow orders, where potentially we then go into the media broadcasting centres like the BBC, ITV network, things like that, to obviously broadcast to the rest of the world, which we do without any resistance, without the police and the military standing in the way. And that's where it gets broadcasted, and then it gets brought in very, very quickly. But there's much that's occurred just before that's happened in terms of the worldwide think tanks that have come together to start figuring out, oh yeah, how can we redistribute the sources? How can we actually delegate people's time and energy to the essential things and have that ready to do immediately upon reaching that majority vote, so that we can actually put everyone into instant comfort by phase 3 and then start to recreate and build the new earth completely, right? That's obviously basically the summary of the 3 phases. So yeah, I wanted to put that out there and just highlight it's imperative that people realize that yes, whilst these protests are useful and they do obviously affect shifting the consciousness in the people, that ultimately we have to obviously keep in mind, obviously potentially, and help people come to the realization and recognizing that actually there is much harm that would come in that eventuality if everything came to a massive halt straight away. People would figure out how to keep on going to a large degree, but there would be much harm in the process, and we need to avoid that by all costs. That's what we're here divinely to do. So that's my bit on that. Yeah, I like I said, I'm going to have to drop out of this call very soon. I'm sorry about that, but I've just got some other things that are going on which are quite important I need to tend to. But I'll stay for a few minutes just to sort of hear anything that comes up. Thank you so much, people, brothers and sisters.
Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Brother Dan and Brother Chris, if you will. Where to begin? And I do have something about Austria, so I have several things to say here. Very importantly, let's keep it simple with the protesters that are protesting against existing government. They need to be equipped with Divine-gpms. With existing governments, when people are fighting against governments, the reason why governments do what they do is because of the monetary incentives. And this is so important. What GPMS does is eliminates all monetary incentive by anyone that's in positions of power, if you will, or let's say divinely, are in positions of the decision-making process for humanity. So by eliminating the main cause of the problem with governments, which is monetary incentive, by eliminating that, then there is no incentive for personal gain or profit because everyone is paid equally in the new system. So there is no reason for personal gain. Everyone is just utilizing the time and the resources to benefit all. So it's the opposite of what governments do today because they're bought. Any politician, as soon as they get into a government, they may have the good intentions to get in there to do something, but immediately what occurs when they get in there, they see that it doesn't work the way that they thought it did. This is the reason why nothing ever gets done good for humanity. It's because it's that regime, that power structure that has no intentions of doing what is good for the people or the public interest. So they are able to be bought by the darkness and its money. What GPMS does, it breaks that all down, that power structure. It takes it away. So then the darkness, with their money, cannot buy people, cannot buy souls. So just to keep it simple, this is again why GPMS is the full solution worldwide to all. What I also need to see when you had the people protesting, What is their goal? To protest against a government that has not provided for them in the past? When you look at governments, when you look at politicians and world leaders, they are to be competent leaders for their people. In this day and age where you don't see any competency, it shows you that it's intentional not to be competent. So this is where it becomes foolish to protest and expect a government that's always incompetent to do what is right for the people. That is not their intent. So this again is another reason why you have to do GPMS worldwide. You're not going to get your results by constantly protesting against governments. What governments are in the worldwide system, it's designed to control humanity. It's not going to allow you to control it. That's why for millennium, you have the same sort of thing, the domination and control. So the only common sense solution, logical solution, is down here you have the 99%. Just gather them together, create the new system, and this old government system falls away. You don't even need to put a finger to it. You don't need to attack it. You don't need to protest. You don't need to try to force it to do what is right, because you'll never force it to do what it's right, because its intention is not to do what is right for humanity. So common sense and logic comes in here. Gather the majority people that wants to do what is right for humanity and just create the new system. Then your governments fall away organically. There is no war, there is no protesting, there is no fighting with it. No one gets harmed. Keep your focus on gathering all of the majority of the people worldwide. If you were to go on a street in any town and take a poll, how many wants a peaceful, abundant, free world where they're not a slave to a system? You're going to get 99.5% will agree with you. This poll is GPMS. So why not, as we're doing, gathering all of these consents from this poll and make it real? Yes, GPMS is a utopia, but it's a reality as well. So it's very simple. Just gather the people, stop fighting, unite. Let's get this done. I want to go back a little bit to very quickly. I'll touch on this with the Great Awakening. And Todd mentioned it. You were awakened in 2010, and Brother Chris, I believe, 2015. But here is the point. Look at your own awakening. Under what circumstances did it occur? Did you do it yourself? The answer is no. Something else did it. And this is so important for all worldwide to know. You did not wake yourself. There was another force that assisted in doing this. And also, this same force today worldwide is coming as Jesus to many. And they cannot deny and they cannot refute the supernatural exactness and reality of this. And this is divine creator. This is the great awakening. This is GPMS. This is the time. It's real. There's not one of you on here that can say, all of these huge walls of water floating cars down the street, which is unprecedented, is not happening. There's not one of you on here cannot say that the huge ice storms that has been occurring, let's say recently in the US, but let's take the huge hailstones in the last year, even here in Romania, that damaged so many crops. These things are very real. It's unprecedented. So I could go on and on with the signs, and I won't do that. But the point again, this is not happening by chance. The Great Awakening, it is divinely orchestrated. It is divine time that it occurs, and on a spiritual level and a very deep level, and that connection to creation and all that is. It is occurring. It cannot be denied. It cannot be refuted. And I wanted to just touch very quickly. I don't want to speak so much because there's so many others on here that has a lot to say today, and that is so valuable. But just touching on Austria, and there'll be more information with this. Some of you that are on here may not know what the universal jurisdiction of GPMS has been doing at producing lawful documents. And some of these lawful documents, they're being from member Sister Nya, are liens. Now, these liens are lawful liens within the field of commerce, if you will, and contract law, the way that the beast system works. What's important about these instruments is that the beast system cannot denounce them or ignore them. It is doing it temporarily, but it cannot ignore them very much longer. And these liens are huge that are placed upon Austria and its insurance service providers. And having said that, the way the entire beast system insurance industry works, we know this. We know how it works. The way the monetary system works and contract law and commerce, laws of commerce, we know how it works. So what we have done is we have used their instruments that they control humanity with against them. And this is very substantial. Not only have we done this in Austria, we are at such a point that it's almost irrefutable that the government, entire government and judicial system of the Republic of Austria is partisan to a huge child trafficking scheme. It's very substantial what we are on the cusp of showing to the people. However, during the course of all of our lawful instruments, which you can see on our absolute law website, which is connected to GPMS, what we have been doing during this whole course of it is taking their laws, subjugating them with their laws, where they're not even answering, that they're ignoring, but it's inevitable the point where they have to pay attention to it, or where the whole Republic of Austria crumbles quickly. At the same time, we have been interjecting divine GPMS in there. And what I need to say is that actually, at this point in time, the whole Republic of Austria is bankrupt under the false premise of how they would create money, the same as the US. The US is perfect. It has been notorious in creating money out of thin air. But this is also a precedent for how GPMS can do it so easily. So the US has already set the precedent with their Fed and I love helicopter Ben with the quantitative easing for any of you that knew about this. And I myself has extensive and full background in all of the financial markets worldwide, the entire construct, how it worked, and I needed that, as well as all of the man-made laws. So I have been well prepared to the fullest by Prime Creator for this time to also, even before GPMS was given to the people. This is why we say we know it, we have it already. Nothing needs to be built. It just needs to be chosen by the people. And it's so simple as a poll, just saying to the people, do you want this new world? We already got it. We already know how it works. It's already here. Do you just want to choose it? You don't have to do any work other than take 2 or 3 minutes to choose it so we can do it for all of the world. And as I said, we can do GPMS. A 12-year-old child can do it for the world because that 12-year-old child from his or her heart has the good intent to make the whole world happy. And that 12-year-old child has everything to do that instantly. GPMS is what does it. So we keep it so simple for ones. Oh, you don't have time to consent with GPMS that takes 2 minutes because you got to work all day. That's ridiculous. Take your 2 minutes and get your voice in there, get that of your family in there, and then temporarily work until we get this instantly created. Then you don't need to work all day, every day. So humanity themselves are the problem with GPMS. It's not the governments, it's not the leaders worldwide, it's not the evil, it's not the darkness that's the problem. The problem is the people themselves not choosing their freedom and ending the suffering for all of the others worldwide. Everyone that does not consent with GPMS are part of the problem. Don't complain. They are part of the problem that's keeping the problem alive. We have the full solution here. Everyone needs to be a part of the solution now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rick. This is true. We can end GPMS in only 1 month or even 2. We have a question from Todd Spring. So how do we all feel about showing GPMS as a solution to all those protesters who have a big reach? So Chris from Romania, he is a leader and he directed himself towards GPMS via Ascension. He's a good one, but it depends. So I participated Todd in some protests here. Uh, Basically in all of them that I know about. And they were not so far more than probably 2-3 hours. So driving, I participated almost all the time. And the leaders received the message and they allow me in general to share the card of GPMS with the people from the protest, even that they gather the protest for a specific reason, as exactly as Chris said, for the mask or whatever. So this was not a problem, but not in general. They did not allow me to present GPMS to the microphone. So they kept also the freedom on the way that basically they choose all the time the speakers on the direction to present the problem or a solution all the time still on the pyramid as other solution, for example, a political party or a politician. So the right of the self-determination, it's nowhere written in the constitution that we have today. and basically was not promoted enough in order for GPMS to become viral. So what happened, for example, yesterday I participated also to a protest from here. It was 1 hour and a half driving, and I will share the screen a little bit. Yeah, so what it's happening, so this is one of the leader, and they were few people. The protest was against the federal government and the liberals. There were basically 12 or 15 people there, not more than that. And I reached them and I shared cards of GPMS with them. And when I shared the cards of GPMS with them, basically I started with from the left to the right because I tried to gather them on the circle to speak only one time about GPMS. And just 1 minute after, because on my cards I have on the back no border, we are equal, etc. A little bit an explanation about GPMS. The reaction was coming almost immediately. They gave me back the cards, half of them. So what is happening in Alberta? We are on the separation right now. So Alberta has many provinces, and right now Canada has many provinces, and right now they want to separate more. Do not let even Canada as a country, and they want to separate every province if possible, or they want to separate here in Alberta to become a country. So they want to impose more limitation and more control. And when I ask what is happening there, they told me because I am not with them, because I'm keeping the movement with no border. And I said, yes, but it is about self-governance, it is about self-determination. And they said, oh, so, and I said, but this is the way, the correct way to give the power to the people. And they said, no, 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 we are not interested because we want to control the immigration. So they want to control other people and to keep also the pyramid in order for few that they choose themselves right now to control other people. What I was finding on, what I found also on the freedom movement about this separation, because right now they are during the vote time, they gather consents like 170,000 already. So this is what is happening in Canada. And right now, what it's saying that this is coming from leaders. So I'm in many, probably some hundreds groups on Telegram only on freedom. And in one of them, I found the information that the First Nation started to speak against this separation because they want to keep the land united. And basically, it is the CIA-led Alberta independence. And so it seems that it is a CIA operation on the Canada land. This was the protest. It was against the liberal government. They did not want it to hear me. And they started to tell me I'm immigrant, I'm liberal, I never choose liberals. And everything. I try to inform them about the 25% of the population that they are soulless people. And this is the problem. And it's not the immigration itself. And basically, they started to tell me to move away, to do not do not even to let me to have a photo or something. But after that, they said, okay, because this is a public protest and it is my right to have a small video about the protest. And they pushed me away and they said, no, you are not with us. And after that, I saw yesterday night that also British Columbia, this is another province that right now it is the same prosperity project involved on the separation and wants to separate. And last night I was invited on Facebook on a group of 10,000 people that they reached 5,000 only one day yesterday. So it's huge how many they reach there. And they are speaking about Alberta independence and also British Columbia independence. And I found through all of them, through the comments, people born in Canada, that they are saying that they will die for Canada, to be Canada again, and do not separate and everything. So this is about the born people in Canada. It is huge what is happening. So it is the first time since this separation was approved to gather the separation movement was approved to gather the consents for them, like 170,000 consents minimum. It was approved by a federal court in Canada. Basically, the leaders, it is a problem of the leaders there. The leaders do not want to hear nothing else, and basically they started to take action exactly like in the United States. All the immigrants have to go. They do not allow the people to speak. It's not about budget. The money it's unlimited. They do not allow you to speak. So basically it's about 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then they start. And they push you away because you are immigrant or does not matter, because they want this to happen. And personally, after a couple of experience since October 2025, and I know also the movement, it was another Todd from Canada, he's native Indian, that I spoke with him in 2021. At that time, we were able to see a CIA operation for the separation in Canada. And so right now just pop up just more and change the leaders' basically opinion and everything that they have. And right now we have this kind of the reaction. This kind of the reaction was seen also after Trump election. White hats there, they move away what they consider the immigrants. They never told to the people the reality about the 25% of the population is soulless. And this is the problem. So they put apart parents with children. From example, many problems happen to the border of Canada and Mexico. The children remain inside of the United States government, with the government, on the institution of the government, exactly as the NIA case happened in Austria. So this is worldwide. And also the parents were put on the situation, they were not able to reach back United States, not to pass the border. So we had a lot of problem like that. We saw a lot of discrimination and racism. And right now is exactly this is what is happening yesterday. So 12 people not even going on the website of GPMS, because only one leader show no border, and because I have accent when I'm speaking English, they started to put me away and told me to move from there. I'm not with them. They have to stop the immigration, and I tried to speak, was not possible. They were coming more and more to go because my place is not there. So this is not freedom. And much more than that, the true power of the people, it's never on the pyramid system. It's not when we conserve the pyramid, the system. It is via implementation universal laws, has nothing to do with universal laws. So basically everything is coming against universal laws or the reaction. But this is the reaction in the last time, especially from the leaders of the Alberta independence or this independence that is coming right now. Yeah, so Rick, yes, you have the hand if you'd like to comment, and I would like also after that maybe to see also opinion of Dave because he's on British Columbia. Yes, Rick.
Thank you. I wish to begin this with Sister Beatrice and perhaps the environment that you entered with these protests. It's very important to know that they are protesting against the government. And can you hear me well? and the consciousness level is not at such a point that they are not aligned with GPMS yet. So when you enter these protests and try to give them something of logic and common sense, it's very difficult because their consciousness and their focus is not aligned with this. And if you give them that 25% of the world has no soul, immediately they're going to reject that. Because if they were in alignment with that, ready to receive it, they would not be protesting the governments already. So this is why we say with protest, it's great. You have a protest that's here. It's great to come just on the sideline, set up a kiosk with Divine-gpms and have some cards. Let the ones that are open to come to you. Don't try to go into a protest trying to convert ones. They're not in alignment with what GPMS is in the first place. It's great to go, if the protest is not as aggressive and nearsighted and tunnel vision on attacking a government, but if it's more open and balanced, perhaps like what Brother Sergey was in and Brother Jonathan, where they handed out 150 GPMS cards that showed there was receptivity, that those ones in Toronto were opened for a solution. The ones in Alberta are not. They are just in the early part of the process with it. They have to, it's apparent they have to go through their fighting to show, to prove to themselves how it's not the way, how it's futile, and what have you. Um, so what we need to be doing, as what I suggest, is have the divine GPMS gatherings. So rather than having protests, you have gatherings to educate people of the obvious logical choice. So if you're able, begin to have community hall gatherings, put out a sign, hey, we're having a meeting. Come get together. Let's speak about this and about the new world. And by doing that, then you're inviting the ones that are at least in alignment with GPMS. Don't go out to their protests. They're not in alignment. That's why they're protesting and still fighting. Um, so this is what I suggest about all. And again, what you'll typically see with spiritual ones, uh, when they're more advanced, they won't be in these protesting lines in the aggression mode. If they're there, they're more as a balance and an observer, but they're not at the core. They'll be on the sides or in the rear, in the backs of these protests. And this is where they're more approachable because energy dictates their positioning in any protest. And it's obvious in what you're sharing that those protests are tightly knit. When you tried to come in to give a simple logic, they rejected you and pushed you right away. So this is a sign where they're not receptive at all, and that it is let's say it's controlled, which is not in alignment with what we are. Um, I'm very happy. I got 500 new GPMS cards made up the other day in Romania here, and it's very cheap. Like I got 500 cards made for about 45 euros, where the last cards I had made in the Netherlands several years ago with the old website on, I think I had to pay about close to 200 or 150 euros to get those. So, but the reason I'm saying I got the cards is because I anticipate I'll be divinely allowed to move some more in Romania and began to get more of these cards out and perhaps have gatherings, community gatherings, perhaps here, if it's divinely allowed, so that we can teach and educate ones much more quickly on what this is, so that they are informed and educated to carry the word to others. As Brother Den said, with his typical math, which is correct, at any moment, GPMS can be done, can go viral and be done in less than a month worldwide. These are very real numbers with math. But again, it's the variations in the consciousness and other factors that we're contending and dealing with. But nevertheless, it's not just us that is informing the world. Never underestimate divine intervention, which we are seeing coming in by Christ visiting ones, getting in alignment in the least. So, and this is where we need to say God has our back. Divinity has our back. Keep the focus on those that are receptive and in alignment. By putting the focus on those that are protesting, you are exerting and wasting your energy and your time if you confront it directly. You go to the sides or the rear, and if there's no one in the protest that is open to the solution, get out of there. You're just wasting your time because they're not ready for the solution. They're still in part of their process where they're fighting, which is the wrong thing to do. And that's what the system wants you to do. That's why the B system is designed as it is, to keep you constantly fighting, because it thrives off of that animosity, that fighting energy. That's how it dominates and controls humanity. So the divine solution is don't fight. Unite the numbers. We have everything. Don't get tricked into being aggressive and being angry, because it is that fear that is an actual energy of control by the darkness. When they control you with anger, they keep you in their world. The trick is know what their tactics are. Don't get involved in it. Don't energetically support it. Shift your focus and put your energetic support towards divine GPMS. Where this doesn't exist, then it vanishes on its own. We have more than the numbers right now. Some of the recent polls that I looked at worldwide is suggesting about 90% of humanity no longer trusts government. There's our numbers. We already have them. We just need to give the focus and the education that the solution is actually here. We are part of what's doing it, which is already here. And once we have enough, we're going to have the panel 72 public meetings again at presenting to the world all of this beautiful higher consciousness that we have here, and this huge advanced intellect and divine architecture that shows the world to them and how easily that it's done. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just to end to answer to Todd. So Todd, when I'm going door to door, the reaction of the people is extremely different. GPMS message is generally received, but I had also to do my mission, spiritual mission, and my mission on this world also to inform the leaders of the freedom movement. But we have a specific separation here that most probably it's lead also by the CIA. It is a CIA operation, and the leaders are not, as Rick said, they are not aligned. So basically, the leaders are aligned with the concept to control other people, not with the freedom and the true definition of the sovereignty. So door to door is very, very different, and I enjoy door to door just to have a better weather, because the weather in Canada is sometimes during the winter time, it's sometimes cold, it's really cold. Yeah, so Dave, we have also the same movement of the separation where they unite the people. So the first, when I'm saying unite, first it's unite people, and second is the direction. All these leaders also, they unite the people, but the direction, it is for the separation right now, because they want to get rid of everything that it is from the federal. What is happening in British Columbia, because I saw right now also groups of the people speaking about the separation of British Columbia.
Well, I'm in the South Okanagan in a town of, or a valley of 1,800 people. We don't get a lot of exposure here. Todd has mentioned he's in Vancouver. He may know more about the BC situation, because he is on the coast, as are others as well. The only thing I would offer from my recent observations is that I can confirm what you have mentioned, Sister Beatrice, in that censorship is alive and well. Censorship plus propaganda is and has been driving humanity since, well, for a couple hundred years at least. And so that very fact is stark in the realization of, for instance, why are we still in this mess after 6 years? Why is it that GPMS has managed to only provide 400,000 consents globally over the 5 or 6 or 7 year period? And to answer that, quite frankly, we live on a planet of free will. And the free will of the masses is dictating this paradigm. They're dictating the paradigm in and amongst pain and suffering. And none of us has anything to say about it, because they wish to continue receiving pain, and they will do so until that pain reaches a certain level to whereby they will be forced to look at something different, such as GPMS. And so while that may sound dark, because it is the result of my not just 6 years of establishing a public archive, but it is also my observation over my lifetime, because we've been dealing with falsehood for a very, very, very long time. And so if I have anything to offer that is light versus the dark that I've just presented, is that this thing only ends one way. And that, as many of you on this call will know, that your powerful free will dictates your own path. In other words, you've probably not worn a mask, you've probably not taken poison, etc. And yet here you are dictating your own path. And so that's the gem of the whole thing, is that anybody who is aligning with truth and following the signals of truth will be protected from now till the end. And the nastiness and dirtiness and pain that will proceed is dictated by the masses, and we will survive in and amongst that phenomenon, because it's just so obvious. I'm now on 8 platforms, and I just received my message on Twitter that my reach will be restricted, and so that's fine. My research is only here to save a child. If anybody looks at my research, they will not harm their child from that moment on. And so that's what we've primarily been establishing here for 6 years. We will continue to save children, and it is an extension of a card that we got that my wife received in 1979 from a nurse. So our information is carrying that torch forward. We are here to save children and lives, and in the meantime, we will look towards the foundational solution, which is GPMS, and we just have to take it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serhi. What is happening in Toronto? How the consents for GPMS are moving forward? What the people are saying, because Ontario is for sure is different. We have all the world there in only one city.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, I was on a protest yesterday again in Toronto. This time it was against Prime Minister Carney
Yeah,
and
exactly.
government, their politics. Yeah, it was cold, but people was gathering there on a London Square. Not much, maybe 50, 70 people, but they're coming and leaving, different faces. They recognize me already because I started giving the card and give them the speech. And they said, "Oh, we remember you from the last time." I said, "Did you vote?" "Oh, not yet." I said, "It's like you gathering all the time for protesting with the flags, but you're not checking the solutions. It doesn't work like that. What's the point of the gathering if you don't have any idea how to fix it? We have an idea. This is the card again. Do it, please." Yeah, I was there maybe hour and a half, something like that. Again, give them the speech, give the cards around, maybe 50 cards, something like that. Yeah. And people still blind to the, I don't know, right side, to the, Canada first and whatever, It's like, they don't want to, see the simple solution when everybody included, everything is good for everyone, peace, abundance, and happiness. They're still trying to fight and just thinking if they're gonna pressure the government gonna step down. It's not gonna happen. It's I don't know, hard to speak with them, but again, I spoke. Everyone who I spoke agree. They received the card, but it's the next step. Go to the website and do the things. Vote. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep on going, keep on showing up, and give them the message. But we'll see. Thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, spending my time to drive there and try to reach and to have this situation was not good. I have more, how can I say, when I share cards with the people on the street or door to door, I share much more, and the things are good in general. So it is something very, very different. So yeah, so the protests in Alberta, it seems in the last time, are very influenced by the movement of the separation, and the reaction are extremely strong. Yes, so we have Barrett with us. Hi Barrett, we cannot see you too many times by here, but today you just pop up. If you'd like to speak with us, Barrett, what is happening in Bulgaria? He wrote a message. The faster people try to end the system, the longer it persists. Yeah. In the way of GPMS, if we are doing that correctly, as we already started, it's about to replace the system. Yeah. So any other situation, change politician with others. So basically, the people started to, they wanted the replace of the government. After that, right now, they are looking to change borders, and they are looking to change also what is called as country. Basically, how the country can be seen, or anyway, these are changes that in with universal laws are not allowed, are coming against universal laws. The division of the land creates all the time division also inside of culture, people, and everything. So this is not about the true unity. And when the coordinator of this movement, they unite the people on the direction to divide the land, this will come future on the division among the people. So basically they are keeping a division, not a unification. And everything that it is on the pyramid system as they want, there are basically few people that they want to have the control over others. So this will just happen again. They are saying we are better than others. So basically they do not recognize all the people free will and right of speech. And so basically the rights and freedom of the people are not respected. But this will come in time, probably exactly as Ring mentioned, probably they need to come to pass through this experience, then they will see after. Unfortunately, nothing can be stopped before. Do not have this kind of the experience, and to have from the beginning the experience of GPMS and really to end the actual system, because they do not end the actual system. They will just continue with other creating other problem and bigger one. Yes, Rick.
Oh, thank you, sister. I just, it's difficult. I think we had questions in our chat on the meeting, but also there may be some questions on Facebook. Any on the meeting? I had suggested to Brother Todd before we started the meeting, if he couldn't speak because of his family, where he needed to be low because it's late where he's at, to put his questions in the chat. But what has occurred is our chat has been quite busy today, and I don't have time to go through it all. But what I am to the panel here, please, if you have any questions, just put up your hand and ask them here if you can. And at the same time, are there any questions in the Facebook live feed? Because I cannot access the comments to see if there's any there. May you please oblige Sister Beatrice, and if anyone have any questions, please put up your hand. Thank you.
There are no questions on your Facebook where we streamline. Yeah, the chat on the chat, I try to see what our guardians share. Barrett, it's if he likes to speak, this will be great. But probably he just put some comments on the chat, not more for today. We have all the time with us Aziz from India. We hope that Pritam from India, our guardian, may reach GPMS soon. Aziz from India, it is all the time the language barrier there, it is the English. But he's all the time with us and he supports GPMS all the time. Everson from Brazil, I saw your cards. You share your cards on the office as doctor. Thank you so much. And yes, we saw also people coming from Brazil. If you have any experience that you would like to share.
I realized that people they prefer to use my phone to give their consent. You're yes. Yeah, I present my phone and they give their consent. I think it's easier for them. I gave 20 people this last week, almost 20. Yes.
No, thank you so much. It is important because I saw from this experience that we started to have also consents from Brazil. So your work it's very appreciated and it's working. So you have very great results already. Agnes from Germany, what is happening there?
So when I've heard all these new voices today, I'm very grateful that we are so big today, such a great group, and I've made some notices because it was so much which came to me from this conversations today, and so for me it's not to sharing Divine-gpms.world. It's like a lottery ticket which you didn't redeemed. So it's so simple. It's there, and so we are repeating and repeating this, and yeah, it's like a ticket. So it's like I don't know if people which didn't recognize it really can imagine. Don't share it or just don't do it because yeah, it's like a lottery ticket didn't redeemed. So that's come to me, and for people which don't know how or why we do it, and I live in Berlin, and also last years I thought for this one which don't think why we're changing this or why it comes, so to offer poverty tours through Berlin, because we have so many people, much more on the street living. We have food, we have enough buildings to live, but the people are outside. And so if someone don't see it, I can offer it and show the people why it should come. And I think it's in every country, every city, and also all these people of Romania or everywhere which can't afford to pay for simple things. So how can you, what would you do when you can't pay it? You don't have it. So what do you want to do with these people? We don't even have enough prisons for these people. So it's how far it should go that the people see what's happening. And I also appreciate that Nya shared this, that people are coming and speaking publicly about this, what's happening to them. It's also very helpful, not just getting for themselves, just sharing these things openly, so more people understand what's happening. Because after this 5-6 years, a lot of people are sitting alone, and it changed the people extremely. And I think this all these people like we today share this what's coming, and sharing all these experiences and thoughts. I think it helps a lot. For me also, of course, but also to explore new ideas, how to share. I also printed new cards. They will come next days for sharing. And what I told last week also, I feel the people which are more in poverty are more open for this. And yeah, and what Brother Dave said, it's maybe some have to feel this pain, and if they don't look on the left and right side, what happened here. And yeah, and what I have more, I would love if it will come over the night and very, 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 very soon. And I'm also very happy to see that that the number is also much higher than last week's, and that we are growing and growing and growing. Thank you very much.
Yes, and also the people needs to see that the form of the governments, it is the same. through the solution we can do better, even that they can do better a little bit financially or something like nothing compared with GPMS. We had a meeting with, I had a meeting with Rick in Romania on Friday, and I said, GPMS, it's so amazing. We can fly, we can reach the sky. Why do you want to accept something less than GPMS? So don't accept that, nothing less than GPMS. So this is about the guardian of GPMS, that they are able to see, to reach the sky, to fly and to reach the sky and see exactly that nothing is changing until the form of the governments it's not changed. And as Rick mentioned also in a post in Facebook, the poverty is kept because the people are not recognized as equal. And my question on Friday was, why the people needs a pyramid system when they do not have the understanding enough, the divinity on themselves, they are not able to reach the higher self, because basically in every, even religion, I'm not saying also on the spirituality, the divinity is telling us that we are equal in the front of the divinity. So we have, how we are saying, God above or the creator above, only that. Why we need other people to tell us what to do, or they can do for ourselves things, when basically right now, worldwide, the ascension was working. We are already on the 4th dimension as general per planet, and many ascend on the 5th dimension and even higher. We do not need other people above or people to control other people. Nobody can control. It's not a law. It's not divinely a law to control other people. It is the time to recognize the divinity and to recognize we are equal. Because we are in the meeting for more than 2 hours, almost 2 hours and a half. If someone wants to add something for today, this is the time. Yeah, so a beautiful experience that we have with Chris, but Chris is very, very open. Chris is a psychologist, teacher, has also juridic background. He's living in Romania. He's awake for enough long time. So we had a beautiful experience with leaders from the Freedom Protest and everything that reach GPMS and listen. Rick for the ascension and everything. He has a lot of subject to be developed and everything. Thank you so much, Chris, to be with us and as a representative for GPMS for Romania. And it's just great. And we encourage all the people from all the leaders from the Freedom to come with GPMS, because GPMS, it is guaranteed for the humanity. As Rick said, GPMS, it is tied with the revelation, and the people needs to recognize the divinity, and this is the way. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, sister. I have a question for Chris, if you're still there, brother. So in our sister Beatrice and I, we had a interview with a Romanian brother Friday night, I believe it was. And in that, Chris, the Romanian brother mentioned that deaths, if you will, are increasing in Romania. I keep very busy where I'm at in Romania and secluded, so I don't speak to many on the outside. I just wonder, can you confirm that? Are the amount of deaths increasing in Romania as a result of what occurred 4 years ago when it began?
From injection.
Yeah.
I will look into it. I have not heard. I need to study this subject.
All right, thank you. Just to add, my last check, there were 74 countries worldwide were reporting depopulation of their populations. But also, just to add, when you begin to do your research, less births, less and less, and also extensive uterine cancers and ovarian cancers, and the inability for many of the females to conceive over the last several years. There's the accurate public studies that you should be able to access out of Czechoslovakia, and Japan is doing amazing work at sharing the truth to the people, but also, to my knowledge, Australia has begun as well to deliver the real truths to the people, meaning that it cannot be contained, and neither is it any longer the stark realization of what I call a mass genocide, of a mass genocide attempt on humanity is being further exposed publicly, even though, let's say, non-publicly, by word of mouth, everyone worldwide already knows it, which means, again, that it cannot be hidden and that it is coming down. And all of those that played a role, like the mainstream media and also the social app platforms at censoring ones as well. It has become obvious worldwide by the majority of the people actually whose side that the mainstream media is on, and also the owners of the social media platforms. Having said this, we are on the cusp of a huge revelation with that, by the people, but also by the grave mistakes that those mainstream media made, all of their journalists at obeying orders. I'll touch on Austria again with Sister Nya and what we were doing on the micro scale. We had informed, I believe, 40 of what you could call mainstream or prominent journalists and news outlets in Austria. We had informed them of this law and of this case, and there has been no reply and no coverage. But what we did receive from one source was that the mainstream media is being pressured not to report on it. So again, this is so revealing without I going, into everything that we're exposing with this. But one thing that is so important, within Romania, the majority of the population believes in God. Many have been taken away from the church. However, importantly, their belief in God remains. But having said this, in Romania, you were brought up in Orthodox Christianity for the most part, and with that is what we call the Old Testament. But with the Old Testament, it doesn't include the important chapter Revelations, what is in the New Testament. And the Revelations is what speaks about this time. However, in the Old Testament, this time is provisioned in chapters from Matthew, Jeremiah, Luke, and Isaiah in the least, and Isaac. So it has been provisioned this time. And the reason I'm saying this is because there cannot, even though the book of Revelations is not in there, there cannot be any ignorance or evasion of this time, even from the people of Romania. because it's been provisioned into these books of the Bible that is in Orthodox Christianity. And I need to bring this up because where it's there, they can readily connect the signs of the prophecies to this time that speaks about floods, earthquakes, natural disasters, nation against nation, civil unrest, plagues. So it's all in there. So there is no excuse, if you will, just because the book of Revelations that by John that describes this time. So there is no excuse. They have been informed, as well as all worldwide, in prophecy, ancient text, ancient scrolls, and indigenous communities. So again, there is no escape, no refuting this at this time. It's so easy to connect all of the dots. It's so obvious. But thank you for that, brother. That's perhaps all I have to say today. Hand it back to either you, Chris, brother, or for any comments on this, or Sister Beatrice.
Yeah, so there are comments that also Barrett and also Chris on the Zoom chat. They recognize that the population too. So yeah, it's happening worldwide. What I would like to say, all the people that they are able to see the true freedom come with self-determination, and the self-determination right comes with the implementation of universal laws, do no harm. And this is worldwide, unite the people worldwide on this direction with no borders. They continue with GPMS even that it is night on their place. Like for example, on the Philippines, it is 2 a.m., but Lodi is here, Eva is here. So we had also Todd from China, 2 a.m. So the people, does not matter, they try to make their time and to come and participate with GPMS. And thank you so much to all my brother and sister that they are part of the universal nation of GPMS and move forward GPMS for humanity. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for everyone that shared this video and especially share the GPMS website. This is very important. And please, your own words and speak about GPMS, because GPMS, it is divine. GPMS is happening. We are doing the worldwide referendum and every consent matter. And please start to participate as a representative and also guardian of GPMS. It is the time. We are in divine time since 2012. And right now we are basically to the end. Why do you want to work for something that do not last, a system or whatever it's your work, and do not work for GPMS to happen as quickly as possible when GPMS it is divine and guaranteed for humanity? Just tell me why, because GPMS it's something that lasts forever. Divine law, universal laws are here since the beginning of the universe, just to align with, nothing else. And it is this amazing positive energy that is coming also for the planet, and many people ascend every single minute. Just please come with us and start to be GPMS guardian and representative. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you.